Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to a brand new video, and today we're going to be looking at the Bitcoin price chart and then looking to see what has happened with price over the past few days. I took a break off yesterday just because, I've done 3 days on a bounce. There wasn't a lot happening in the market, and I just thought we'll just give it a break and see what comes in the next couple of days. So yesterday what we can see is we come into this zone. As we said, if we lose here, we should, come into this zone because you get a lot of consistent touches previously in price from last cycle. So this is a big zone for price to come into. There is a lot of clear price action here. So, we just kind of went straight up. So my thought process was we're either going to bounce from this position and start coming up, or we're going to come the whole way down into this zone and then we'll start making our way up. Currently, it's looking like we've reversed around the 58,000 mark, and we've pushed up way above 60,000, which is good because that would have been a big zone of resistance, which I thought we would have struggled to get past, but we have not. We have shot right through it, which is really positive. Today we are up, 5%? Just under 5, just over 5%. So that's a real big positive for today. A nice reversal candle as well. So that is all really positive. What I'd probably expect from this point is I think we're going to come up into this 65k zone, and that'll be our next kind of big resistance test. So what we want to see is come up to this zone, hopefully break through, push higher, then break through 67 and push up to all new time highs. I think definitely when we get up to this zone here, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. I'm hoping the big push up, what it will do is liquidate a lot of the shorts in the market, because then, once we tend to get really big liquidations, that's what tends to really give an upside or a downside to the market pretty quickly. So if we can see a bunch of liquidations up in this zone here, I imagine price will really start to push on from that point. A couple of things to kind of give confluence to this. Currently, the DXY has, as we said before, really rejected from this zone here, which is really good. Come right down. As I said before as well, it will come into this zone here, this orange zone. What we probably want to see is a bit more downside into this zone to kind of really get the confirmation that risk on assets are going to go higher. DXY kind of coming into the zone and then pushing up and bouncing out of there isn't exactly the most positive outlook, but I think, we need to keep keeping an eye on this. Indicators kind of, the MACD is crossed over, it's on its way down. RSI is already quite low, but again, these are lagging indicators, so it's very hard for us to kind of use it as a confirmation. We can just use it to kind of back up our kind of thesis on what we think is going to happen. So let's just keep an eye on this, see where we go. I would like to, maybe come, maybe come up here a little bit, maybe have a bit of a rejection and come down. So, if you throw a fib on it and you go, cool, that's the bottom there. We come up, retest at like the 0.50, or probably the 618 makes, nope, that's the 702, makes a bit of sense because that's the top of the wick. And then hopefully we'd kind of get like a, an A, sort of like a maybe a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or get like an ABC. We'll have to see, because that could be A wave, come up as a B, and then down as a C, and we end up down here somewhere. So hopefully, there's a lot more downside to come. One of the things I have been looking at with the DXY though is it's giving me a bit of a vibe of Wyckoff accumulation, because you're kind of coming down, creating a low, coming down, creating a lower low, coming up, retesting, coming down to that zone there, which you follow through, and then coming up and retesting. So hopefully there's a another dip down here somewhere, which would give us that last kind of push up in the Bitcoin market and assets, because it kind of correlates quite well with the S&P at the minute. So I would probably see, you could be seeing an ABC, and that could be coming down. I mean, that's fully well within the question, because at the minute you've got A, B, you can come up here and create that C wave, or we're going to be looking at something a bit more related to, more of I get a long drawn out, like kind of like wave 3, come down, and then like a wave 4 and create that kind of higher high. Or we're gonna just keep pushing up higher. That would be my kind of view on how I think things will play out. I mean, especially if the DXY is going to keep coming down, everything else to keep going. This is a push for Bitcoin that I want to get up here. Then we could be pretty happy, and then hopefully we can start looking at some rotation from Bitcoin into altcoins. It's very hard to judge kind of how high the Bitcoin market will go, because we never really at this point in the market kind of pushed above all-time highs. Normally we kind of get up to it and kind of toy around with it. We never really tend to push up higher and then come down and bounce around and stuff. So for me personally, I think at the minute the market looks bullish. We've got a lot of people out of it. You can have a lot of longs liquidated, especially around this zone here, because you would have had them probably settle on that zone there, get liquidated in this position, and now we start pushing up, and then we're going to do the same thing with the shorts. So that gives me a lot of kind of confidence that we're going to see a lot of upside price action, but we're just going to have to wait and see how things play out. I did take a look at the Fear and Greed Index, which was sat around 43, I think, or 42, something like that, which again is a very negative mindset in the market. So that's what we want. When everyone is going, oh, really fearful, really negative, that's when we want to be going, right, there's going to be a turn in the market now. This is positive. We've got to look for upside price action from this point. So when you were here and everyone's fearful, that's a perfect time to buy, because that's when you've got the upside. Because even if you're bought in the zone here and then you're up here, if you put, well, 10%, nearly 10% is a really good gain to make generally. But, if you're leveraging that like 20, 30 times, like the amount of money you're going to be making is ridiculous. So, learning all of these support zones is going to be really beneficial if you're going to do any short-term trading. But from a long-term perspective, I think we're really going to see a nice push from this point. Just need to keep an eye on things. Obviously, if the DXY decides to turn around here and then keep going, and S&P comes up and just does an ABC and then starts coming down, then, we might get the push higher a little bit, but then, either money is going to start rotating out of the S&P into Bitcoin, because, S&P's done by that point. There isn't any gains to be made. People get scared and they'll hop out, and you could see a rise in Bitcoin. But what I'd imagine is people are going to go into a more sort of value, gold maybe, or the DXY go into the dollar, because again, normally when markets are going down, the dollar's going up, and vice versa. So we're just going to have to kind of wait and see what happens with that. Again, DXY coming down and being in this zone is definitely correlated to Bitcoin making a new time high. That's happened every single cycle. So again, that's positive. We're kind of staying down here. We're not pushing up too much at this point in time. So we just need to sit, keep an eye on the markets, and kind of wait for things to play out. But, in a more long-term / short-term perspective, I do see a lot more upside in Bitcoin. All right, that's everything for now, guys, and I'll catch you next one.